Hey everybody, here's another manga review I'll be doing. This time I'll be reviewing a manga that's gotten popular recently and even has a new anime adaptation. The manga I'm talking about is Komi-san wa Komiyosho desu. Usually when I review a manga, I want to share with my audience a manga that I think is fantastic or a pleasure to read. However, I wanted to do something a little different with this one. See, I actually don't like Komi-san that much. In fact, it's one of the more boring manga I have read, and the fan base for it is completely insufferable. If you like Komi-san, then congratulations, you deserve Reddit gold, my friend. In all honesty, it doesn't deserve the popularity it gets. It's not interesting, and the main gimmick of the series gets old pretty fast. The fact that it has over 300 chapters is crazy to me, and I'm someone that reads One Piece after all. So let's examine why this manga is a Reddit masterpiece. You have the title character, Komi Shoko. She is a cute and shy girl. She is the epitome of Japanese beauty standards. She has pale skin, long legs, medium-sized breasts, a slim figure, and probably has double eyelids. The title of the manga in English is translated as Komi-san Can't Communicate. So the basic premise of the series is that Komi-san has trouble talking. This is due to her having social anxiety, and she resorts to writing out her thoughts on a piece of paper instead. The main protagonist is Tadano Hitohito. He's just your average high school male who is boring and somehow catches the eye of the most beautiful girl in school. Unlike Komi-san, Tadano doesn't have autism and can pick up on social cues. He's the only person that really understands Komi's thoughts and feelings and becomes her first friend. He decides to help her learn to communicate better and make more friends at school. Tadano isn't just your normal, boring, self-insert protagonist. He's also a fucking simp that thinks too much. Despite knowing what Komi-san is thinking, he still can't muster the balls to ask out Komi-san until 300 fucking chapters later. Komi-san's goal is to make 100 friends at school. Sounds easy enough, right? As she makes new friends, the cast becomes filled with all kinds of stereotype tropes found in anime. The second friend Komi-san makes is a trap who is a social butterfly, the complete opposite of Komi-san. Now, you'd think I'd be all over this character since I have an affinity to these types, but it didn't really interest me, and he's probably the third most important character in the series. The next friend is a shy, big-titty masochist girl, then a popular girl, Yandere. Next is a socially awkward chunibyo. The list goes on and on. At this point, I'd like to make a quick disclaimer. I didn't read the entire manga. I just read the first 50 chapters, so I think that gives me enough perspective to judge the series. It doesn't seem like it was going anywhere, I just wanted to give it a fair chance. I did skip over to the more recent chapters. It seems after 300 chapters that the art style changes significantly. I personally prefer the original style to the new one, but that's not the main problem. The main problem is that after 300 chapters, the same gags are still being repeated, almost no progress has happened. We finally see Komi and Tadano go on a date and still be awkward as hell. Almost like this could have happened within the first 20 chapters and nothing would change in the main story. Let's compare another popular Reddit manga with an equally insufferable fanbase, that being Please Don't Bully Me Nagatoro. Nagatoro's fanbase consists of degenerate masochists who want to relive their childhood bullying in the form of an anime girl, and horny Mexicans. It took over 80 chapters for the beta male protagonist to ask out his bully, and she was a complete bitch to him at first. But over the course of the series, their dynamic changed significantly, with Nagatoro later being genuinely supportive and caring for her senpai. There's an actual character development arc 300 chapters later in Komi-san, and they can barely look each other in the eye without blushing. Now, some people might say, "Hey Janice, this is a slice of life. It's supposed to be laid back. Did you actually expect character development?" No, and that's why I put off reading this manga for so long. It's a rom-com and half the time they don't get proper character development either. But you would think with a series so popular and with so many chapters that there would be some substance to the story to keep people invested for so long, and that's simply not the case. It's about as shallow as you can get. For what it's worth, the original one-shot of the manga is decent. The setup to the story is more fleshed out, and Komi-san's problem is taken more seriously. It still has the same gag, but it doesn't trivialize it at every turn like the main series does. It does a better job of showing why so many people misunderstand Komi-san and how much this problem deeply affects her. I realize this is a creative decision by the author, but it would be better served in my opinion to not stretch this out to over 300 chapters when realistically this story could have a full resolution within 50 or 100. I rate the series as 4 out of 10. The art style is not bad by any means, but the story gets tiresome real quick. Every chapter just devolves into the same gag, and the extremely slow pace of what is supposed to be a rom-com just kills any interest in the story. It could have focused more on her social anxiety problem, or have different stages of the series where her relationship with the other characters deepen more. But from what I've seen so far, this is not the case. The other characters in the show are just as bland and uninteresting, providing no depth to their being in the narrative. More and more characters are introduced, yet the story doesn't seem to advance. It's unnecessarily dragged on far longer than it should be for a romance story. It being a slice of life doesn't really excuse this fact, since there is actual plot progression 300 chapters in. So really, even the author himself got tired of doing the same shit over and over again. And that is my thoughts and feelings on the most Reddit manga ever, Komi-san Can't Communicate. I do not recommend this manga at all. Feel free in the comments to tell me what you think of the story. I realize everyone has their own opinion. It's just that anyone who disagrees with me is wrong.